New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
And hello again, dear ones. Dr. Robert with you here on a Friday evening. It's 5 o'clock on the Mountain Time Zone, and that means it is time for our good news. That weekly look at some of the good news stories that I found in my inbox or along the way in the interwebs. So grateful that you're with us. Thanks for being here. Please do hit the like, share, subscribe button. Let your friends and family know what we're doing as we get started here on the good news this evening. All right, first up, good news in the world of breast cancer research. Now, I know medical research has been in the mainstream news today in a big way, and there is still good news. This coming out of the University of Illinois. They have synthesized a remarkable substance known as ERSOTFPY. A single dose, however, can eliminate small tumors, and the same dose significantly shrank large tumors in both mice and rats, and with no deleterious side effects. Now, this is all happening. It's in estrogen receptor positive breast cancer, ER+. The compound addresses many common concerns with existing treatments that involves choking off the supply of estrogen on which the tumors rely. It's very rare for a compound to shrink tumors in mouse models of breast cancer, let alone completely eradicate those tumors with a single dose. This is the lead author, Paul Hergenrother. He said the ERSOTFPY is an advanced treatment now for breast cancer. And ER plus breast cancer is the most common form of the most common cancer in the United States. At current rates, 13.1% of women will develop breast cancer in their lives, accounting for 15% of all cancer diagnoses in the U.S. Good news here on that front. And, you know, folks, we're going to hold here in the New Thought studios and in our philosophy of New Thought, that what's happening today in the world, especially around medical research in the United States, is a temporary experience, and that we will get this all lined up and aligned in the right direction and moving in the right direction again real soon. All right. Hey, you know, we do get most of our good news stories over at the goodnewsnetwork.org. We invite you to drop over there and give them some of the love and attention they deserve for sharing the good news. And this next story is something that they shared. We found over at the Good News Network a few years back. We reported on this story. A Danish city of Aarhus launched an initiative to cut back on carry-out coffee cups. And currently, up to they estimate about 750,000 cups have been reused in their reuse program. Now, this has resulted in over 514,000 euros being paid out in the form of little 70-cent euro rebates to conscious consumers who return their coffee cups into depositories located around the city. Reusable is a government-backed firm that distributes thick plastic coffee cups and lids to local cafes. Large vending machine-like installations are around the city, and you can return them for the rebate. Now, waste analysis, through a waste analysis program, they discovered that 45% of the waste in Aarhus came from takeaway packaging. The project manager for circular packaging at Aarhus municipality told the Euronews the finding was a turning point. So in 2014, hoping to address the waste stream, they launched a 3-year trial with Reuse and a Norwegian company called Tomra, which makes the collection machines. Well, the good news is they're seeing a return rate of 88%. Which means cups on average are being used 44 times before they break down and need to be eliminated from the stream. Good news, good news. I want to try it. We need to try this in the U.S. somewhere. Small city, big city, maybe a place like Arvada, Colorado. Maybe your city. Might be an idea to contact your local city council person about. Here's a story we found that found us and has nothing to do with local municipalities. We're going all the way to Tanzania. A local entrepreneur in Tanzania is created a new idea of taking old cement bags, turning them into backpacks, tacking on a solar panel, and that powers a reading light. By clearing municipal waste and helping rural children study after dark, the bags won the backing of the United Nations Development Program for their problem-solving potential. Soma, bags in the name, they employ 85 rural workers, and they make about 13,000 backpacks a month. Now, that's not as much as they could sell more. They have a greater demand. They just don't have the people power to make it happen. This is all due to a gentleman named Mr. Innocent James. He's born in the Mwanza region of northern Tanzania, and he remembers studying for school by the light of a kerosene lantern. Here we are 20 years later, and many of the rural households in Tanzania still depend on kerosene lamps. We've reported on the detriments of kerosene lighting here on this network before. Those lamps not only are expensive to run and somewhat dangerous, many parents can't afford or don't trust their children with a kerosene lantern, and they send them off to bed with no way to read. Well, James's solution was inspired by a university professor he met. The man carried around a solar panel to charge his phone sewn into the fabric of his jacket. James got the idea to sew cheap, flexible solar panels onto the outside of bags to power a reading light. He began back in 2016, sewed around 80 a month, and selling them for between the equivalent of $4 to $8 in Tanzanian shillings. James's fledgling business was supported by the UNDP Fungo Innovation Program, funded by the European Union and the UK government. Good work, sir. Good work creating reusable bags. I love it. Good life. And one more story that to me, like, wow, all the way in 2024, and we're finally accomplishing something here that I think is rather important. Bangladesh has reached the point of near universal electric access for its citizens. Bangladesh, coupled with the rapid electrification, has been one of the greatest single declines in the poverty rate of a nation that has ever been seen. A poverty rate of 44.2% in 1991 has dropped to 18.7% in 2022. In 1991, only 14% of the nation had access to electricity. By 2021, 99% had access. Now, granted, half of these households are considered, according to One World data, to have lower tier access, which accounts for home lighting and charging mobile phones at least 4 hours a day. But the other half are considered to having higher tier access, defined as the added capacity to power higher load appliances such as refrigerators more than 8 hours a day. I didn't know that Bangladesh is the world's most densely populated large country with a density of 3,020 per square mile. As the 12th densest country in the world, the 11 above Bangladesh are all microstates whose combined land area would not even equal half the size of the smallest state of Bangladesh. To put this all in perspective, if you wanted to reduce the population density of Bangladesh to that of Mongolia, its borders would have to include all of Africa and all of Eurasia. That's how crowded Bangladesh can be. This is an amazing opportunity for the reduction of poverty, and it truly means the global human is flourishing. We are moving forward in the world, folks, and that is a marker right there. Say a quick shout out to our dear friend Peter Bertels. Yes, dear Peter, good to see you. It is time for the good news. It's also time for us to take a quick break, tell you a little bit more about some of the things happening here around the New Thought Media Network, and let me get a little sip of water. So don't go away. Stay with us. We'll be right back after these messages.
New Thought Media Network proudly presents the 2025 Season for Nonviolence 64-day meditation series, January 30th through April 4th. New meditations published daily at 6 a.m. Eastern Time on our YouTube channel. Join us as we carry the vision of a world that works for all. Only on New Thought Media Network. Learn more at www.ntmedia.org.
Join our celebration of Black History Month. Only on New Thought Media Network. New videos every day at 6 a.m. Eastern Time, or watch anytime on our YouTube channel. 28 unique Black History moments. Every day in February. Come join us as we celebrate Black History Month. Only on New Thought Media Network.
And we're back with more of the good news here on the New Thought Media Network. I'm Dr. Robert. Thanks for being with me on a Friday evening. Please do let your friends and family know what we're doing. Like, share, and subscribe, and all those things. And hey, if you have a good news story you think we should cover here on the network, please send us an email, goodnews@ntmedia.org. Or if you'd like to be a guest and present a story here on the good news, let us know. We'd love to have you come into studio with us on a Friday evening and share your good news story live on the air with us. All right, let's get back into it. I love this story. This is all happening over in London, and American teenagers, this might not believe this, even though we have the proof now. It goes back a couple of years, and we've reported on this one before as well. A high school in East London where the teachers have convinced students to delete their social media accounts and hand in their phones. All this because they're seeing test scores rise. Cumberland Community School in London's Newham region is ranked among the most consistently improved institutions year over year in the whole of the United Kingdom. The percentage of students who achieve a 3.0 or better GPA and are above in their English and math exams are well above the national average. It all started back into the 2023 year. During the end of the year exam period, teachers convinced students to give up their TikTok, Snapchat, and Instagram for 2 months. Well, that year, out of 300 students at Cumberland, 160 agreed to delete their social platforms. Many also agreed to hand in their phones while in the schools taking exams. Last year, another 120 students took part, and the school was planning to replicate the initiative in 2025. The social media ban was a game changer for us, according to the principal. All of our students were, because all of a sudden, all of our students were 100% focused on their exams. The 2023 cohort that stuck to it throughout the revision and exam period did significantly better than they were predicted. We did it again last year, and we're going to see similar results next year as they start the new school year. Huge credit goes to our staff and students who have put so much effort into the substantial improvement. Good news for everyone. Congratulations. We find the good news in all kinds of places, folks. And we find philanthropy and we find the giving spirit in all kinds of places as well. This next one has one of those unique twists. There's a town in France called Thiberville. Well, there's also a gentleman recently who made his transition, Roger Thiberville. The thing is, he left 10 million euros to this little town in Normandy, and he had never visited there before. It's a typical little Norman town, and it has 19th century chateaus, but not much else. The local mayor said the endowment was beyond imagination. They're going to pay off $4,000 in debt out of 10 million. That'll not a problem. They have plans to build a bowling green and a synthetic soccer pitch. They do intend to also invest much of it for their future generations. Included projects in their plans, however, do include solar panels for their parks and additional recreational areas at their schools. Good news. I love that we can find life happens in the most unique ways, and we never know where the divine is going to reveal itself in a fun way, and in a way that blesses countless generations. This little town will forever be blessed by the gift of this man. Thank you, sir. Speaking of a town being blessed by a gift, how about a whole region or the state? It's been 3 months since Hurricane Helene ripped through North Carolina, and the 24-hour news cycle has moved on. All of our prayers for the California and those suffering from the fires. But back to North Carolina, one man is being hailed as a godsend. Jake Jarvis runs Precision Grading, Construction, and Demolition, and since Helene has been completing tens of thousands of dollars in construction work. You're going to hear it, pro bono. He's been demolishing homes that need it, building bridges to get people out of their areas, and clearing river crossings. I couldn't give them an estimate, so I just said, well, I'll do it. That's Jarvis, remembering one job on which he worked late into a January evening. The residents at Bat Cave, North Carolina, see destruction everywhere they look, and many would like to move on. But as great as an emotional toil as saying goodbye to a family home, they often can't because the house is still there, wrecked but standing. It's hard on you mentally because you see devastation every single day, and I definitely experienced a struggle with that, said Jarvis. He's got a list of 20 to 30 people at any time that need help. Local fireman and fire department chief Steve Freeman said he is a godsend coming down through. He opened the road so you could get through. He also built several bridges and financed the work through his personal savings and donations. Mr. Jake Jarvis, Precision Grading, Construction, and Demolition, thank you, sir, for being part of the good news, helping people to move forward and move on from that catastrophe and into the next great expression of our lives. Hey, folks, we've got one more segment of good news for you and one more commercial break before we get there. But remember, in our final segment, we have our hero of the week, and you're going to want to stick around for this one. Until then, please help me say thank you to our organizational sponsors and individual donors. Please help us say thank you to our organizational sponsors, including the Hefferland Foundation, Affiliated New Thought Network, International New Thought Alliance, Science of Mind Archives and Library Foundation, Center for Spiritual Living Denver, Center for Spiritual Living Midtown, New Thought Philadelphia, Planned Happiness Institute, Summit Center for Spiritual Living, One Heart Retreats, Center for Spiritual Living on the Lake, Unity Kitchener, Unity Spiritual Center, Ottawa, Om Center for Spiritual Living, Satya Center, Begin Within Ministries, Center for Spiritual Living, North Jersey, Unity of Savannah, and the Center for Spiritual Living, Seattle, as well as all of our individual donors. Thank you for being part of the New Thought Media Network. Please like, share, and subscribe. New Thought Media Network, positively inspiring. And we're back with more of the good news. Thank you to everyone that makes this possible, helps us share this good news story out into the world. All of our organizational sponsors and individual donors, we love you, we appreciate you, and we know you're helping us to do the good work of the New Thought Media Network. Thank you. Hey, back into our stories here. Now, we've got some good news, and as is always the case, we're finding the good news that's emerging out of the California fires. And it is winter time, so the lakes are not quite frozen. But we don't want to lose track of all the good news that happens. And this one is one of those stories I didn't want to let slip through the cracks. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Andy Emmett. He said he offered himself up for a kidney transplant to save the life of an 11-year-old girl, as his own daughter had passed away 1 year after her kidney transplant. It's a heartwarming story. Emmett's daughter, Sarah, died from kidney disease at just 8 years old, even though Emmett had spent her entire life searching for a proper donor. They did eventually find one, and a year after the transplant, the young girl succumbed anyway. Emmett made it a mission to see what he could do to continue to pay it forward, and recently Andy was able to donate his liver to another young girl, 11-year-old young girl. The Yorkshire native is recovering well. We're not the recipient's information has not been released for the child's privacy. Good work, Andy. You're doing it. We love you. It's amazing. Hey, folks, it is winter time, and the lakes are not frozen. This comes to us out of Massachusetts, a double rescue. Ed Berger was walking beside Lake Waban in Wesley, Massachusetts, enjoying a nice afternoon. Well, his two dogs, Tommy and Oscar, saw some birds, and dog Tommy jumped out onto the lake. Ed tried to stop him, couldn't, went out after him, and before you know it, Tommy was in the water, and then Ed was in the water too. Somehow the Wesleyan Fire Department were alerted and brought to the scene. They were able to rescue both Ed and Tommy. They were a bit hypothermic, but they were able to pull them out, and both owner and dog are reported to have made a full recovery. Thank you to the firefighters. Thank you for Ed. And it's a good news that no puppy dogs were injured in any of this. All right, the good news stories are coming out of the California fires, and a great video has emerged of a young woman, Kalna Federowitz, 16-year-old, and she is leading a spooked horse out of the fires. Now, her family owns a farm and a stable. They were able to load all of the animals into carriers and transports and start moving them down the mountain. However, of course, there was one animal that just wouldn't get on the transport. The young woman was unwilling, I'm going to say, to leave the animal behind and began to lead the animal down the mountain. For over 14 miles, she jogged, ran, walked, sometimes rode, and supported the animal in moving itself down through the mountains and down out of the canyons. You can see in the picture there, they were rather close to some flames and heavy smoke at various times, and that's not even the closest they got. All are safe and all are well. Thank you, dear young lady, for supporting these animals and getting them to safety. I cannot imagine what that would be like. And you know, that's a good news story. However, it's not our hero of the week, but here is our hero of the week. A brain surgeon and his son ignored evacuation warnings and instead put into action an emergency plan to save their oceanfront home and their neighbor's home. All this happened in Malibu, California, near Los Angeles. For 2 straight days and nights before firefighters arrived, a neighbor joined them in struggling to put out fires whenever they erupted during the blustery conditions brought on by the fierce Santa Ana winds. Brain surgeon Dr. Chester Griffiths says their victory over the Palisades fire wasn't just physical bravery. For years in advance, he planned for a wildfire by buying high-pressure hoses, professional firefighting gear, and flame-retardant home building materials. Not only that, they trained to learn about disaster preparedness. As a result, the father-son duo, along with their neighbor Clayton Colbert and local firefighters, saved 5 homes along the beach, where so many others were turned to smoldering rubble. "We did it," he said, exhausted, in a video on social media. "Our houses are here." Thankfully, the winds have died down in California, allowing firefighters to bring over 40,000 acres of wildfires under control. Please know our hearts and prayers do go out to those that are still experiencing wildfires in the San Diego region and Southern California area. New fires have been reported throughout today. Our hearts and prayers are with everyone that are battling wildfires. A big thank you to Dr. Griffiths for being prepared. A lot of good news stories coming, folks, out of these fires, especially those that are right now. We're learning about fire preparedness and having defensible space. Good news happening all around. Hey, folks, I want to thank you for being with us here on the New Thought Media Network. I'm about done here. However, coming up in just a half an hour, it's Reverend Michael Mangus with the Fireside Chat. Happens every Friday evening, and you can look for him and his guest tonight, Reverend Dr. Raymond Anderson, will be here live in just about a half an hour. Join us for that at the top of the hour, 6 o'clock on Mountain Time. Always an inspiring conversation. And of course, evening prayers are at 8:15. We'll be back tomorrow morning with our morning prayers at 8:15, but also our Science of Mind and Spirit conversation series happens every Saturday morning, 9 a.m. Mountain Time. Join us for that as well. All right, I'm Dr. Robert. I'm going to get out of here for now, let you get into the rest of your evening. Until the next time, I want to wish you peace and richest blessings. Bye now.